I think it's quite nice, Rotherham. Lovely little town, and people are very friendly, and I don't really see much problems here.
I don't know, Rotherham Centre's not really doing that well these days, I wouldn't have thought, not compared to what it used to be, so...
Because I think that the shops that we have got in Rotherham town, they're not that much anyway.
They're closing down one by one?
Yeah. So I think that will be quite a problem for people that live around nearby.
You go that way, there's Parkgate, and it's easier to get to. You go other way and you can catch a bus to Meadowhall, so that's easier to get to. And there's nothing really to come to Rotherham for. You can't buy clothes or anything in Rotherham, or any cheap stuff.
Like, no here, and then everything's closing down and it's full of tramps, and you could just make it so much better. And then people would want to come here instead of, like, going to Sheffield or whatever.
They need other things. They need places to go, like for old folk, there's nowhere for them to go. Not for them to do at all.
I don't find many shops for me to hobble along to, so I've got a scooter. And it's in the garage at the side of the house. But you've got to be careful when you go out, wherever you go these days. You know, I mean, don't take chances.
We moved to Eastwood, which that was a good area. It was a nice area when we moved to Eastwood. It's gone dark now, of course. It's just a ghetto now for immigrants. I wish the council would move them, to be honest, but they won't, so where do you go from there?
We're filling up with the people that's come in from abroad. I'm not saying they're all bad people or anything like that. Part of them work. I've heard so many stories, what they get free, what we don't get. We've been here living in this town for all this time, and it's just like you've been invaded.
There's a lot of refugees on that, because they've placed most of them in Eastwood. That's why people think it's not a very good area.
Because there is a lot of racial comments, and even through Christians or Muslims, there's lots of fights.
It's not as peaceful as it used to be. So they'd rather not move there. They'd rather move somewhere else because it's a lot noisy. They have a lot of music on late and stuff like that. And
a lot of youngsters putting about.
They're in gangs.
But when there's people out there that are in genuine need, and no disrespect to anybody that's coloured, but they come into the country, they get a house, they get money to spend on it, they get money for whatever, and then there's people like me who lived here, pay me dues all my life and can't get out.
I know there's sort of different ethnic sort of areas, what people would class as something to be bothered or to talk about, but personally I don't know.
Yeah.
There are more upper class areas, as you would call them, with bigger houses and all that sort of thing, but I don't know, probably just the ethnic barriers really that separate areas really, I would have thought so.
I'd rather live in Parkgate than live in Rottmarsh. There seems to be a lot of drug problems around that area.
Drugs. There are lots of drugs everywhere, and it's a bad problem because it's spreading and no one's doing anything about it.
It's just crime rate and everything's just got worse. Quite rough and stuff, so I mean I got beaten up one time there, so it's a nice place, but like mainly like chavs.
It's quite a bit more rougher around here in this sort of area, but I think it's because there's more town, more shops and all that sort of stuff.
Kids need things to do at night to keep them off streets and making a nuisance of themselves. I would say drugs as well. That's one thing they want to get this act together on, because drugs is getting quite proliferant around here with youngsters.
It's not very nice because there's nothing for kids to do or else. You just go out during park and that, but that's all really, to be honest.
There's a lot more break-ins now and they don't feel safe anymore. They're always, when you come around Rotherham, they're always drinking and you know what I mean, you can't walk around anymore and enjoy it. So everyone's drinking.
Break-ins, accosting people in the street, attacking a woman, taking a handbag outside the pub up at on Broom Road.
It's time they did something about all these robberies and God knows what going around, and making town a bit safer at night so people can come into it.
Them days have gone where you used to knock and see if old people were alright, if they wanted anything from shop. Them days have gone, and you know, it's just each man for their own now.
Park Council, I don't really hear much of the Park Council actually. They don't really complain much, they just complain about the people.
They could do a lot more with the town. A lot of the shops are closed down.
Just cleaner than others, really, better places to hang around and stuff like this.
I don't think they do anything really much, apart from build offices.
Parkgate, town centre, make that look better. All the roads need doing.
Well, at the moment, we're trying to find a 2-bedroom house because we're living in a 1-bedroom flat at the moment, and my partner's bought it, but the council won't let him have it back, take it back off him, so we can get a new house.
The cuts have got to happen. Everybody knows it really. No matter what people say, the cuts have got to happen. They've just got to try and keep it to a bare minimum, I suppose, and make sure that the cuts are done properly.
But they do seem to be like cutting down and like freezing child benefit, which is not going to be good because when you've got a baby you need a lot of stuff, and luckily we're in the band of the child tax credit, but we were panicking because it was going to be we thought it was going to be lower than what it actually was, so we were worrying about what we were going to do, and now we're still worrying again because the council are being funny about what we're doing with our house.
To help people that are living in it, to try and get houses for people that are homeless and things, stuff like that.
A little bit, because people get fed up with paying council tax anyway because it's too high, and they don't get a lot back for the money, I suppose. But so realistically, they're going to cut back anyway, aren't they, on staff? So the council tax should come down accordingly.
I think your spending cuts affect more on your elderly people and your young, because it's down to the parents that have to fork out for kids. It's like kids' bus passes. They've got school uniform on, but if they haven't got the bus pass, they have to pay full fare. Ridiculous.
What they should concentrate on is where there's disputes and problems, with the crime rate or burglaries and antisocial behaviours. That they should concentrate on that, yeah. And I think maybe there are specific areas where there's more of it than others, which they should target then, if that's what they're going to do.
Just kids our age, our generation, and that, because we are the future and that, aren't we? So we need like play areas and stuff like this, but we ain't got them. So